Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. I apologize I wasn't able to make the last meeting. I had a dental procedure. So thank you. We'll start with roll call. Commissioner Seward present.
Commissioner McKnight Smith present.
Commissioner Noah Matheny present.
Commissioner Prescott present.
Commissioner Evelyn present.
Commissioner Levitt present.
Cleveland Horton, Executive Director present.
Yolanda Sonier, Deputy Director.
Nicolette Young, Assistant Director.
Glendora Hughes, General Counsel.
Candace Crenshaw, Director of Education and Outreach.
And Spencer Dove, Special Assistant to the Executive Director. Good morning.
Good morning. I looked at the participants. I didn't see, but I could have missed. Are there any members of the public with us today?
Not that I see.
Okay, great. Then we will move on. I have a very brief report this morning. I first wanted to start by thanking the NCCR staff for a great event on July 1st. I don't know if everybody or anyone was able to attend and I'm probably going to say Mara legislative wrap-up was both informative and interesting. As always, it was really interesting to hear about the progress that's being done, some of the things like the Expungement Reform Act and SB 360, which includes AI-generated images as revenge porn, which, as we all know, is a type of sexual harassment. And then just a timing shout out, I appreciated the timing as the event was on July 1st, and that is the day that all of that new legislation went into effect. So well done on that. That was fun. I also wanted to say the event illustrated the ongoing need to keep pushing and advocating for legislation that supports Marylanders' civil rights. Speaking of events, as always, I want to remind everybody the gala is scheduled for August. I also want to acknowledge the conversation from the last meeting. Sorry, again, I was unable to attend. And while there were concerns, I do want to say that it is really great to know that we are able to express our concerns and have conversations about issues that are important to us. I think that demonstrates a level of trust within our group and our organization, and I think that's really important. I also want to let everybody know about another event, which I have sent to NCCR. On September 18th, the Maryland Lynching Memorial Project is having a virtual film screening and panel discussion for the film My Father's Name. I don't know if anybody knows about it, but it looks interesting. And then finally, I'd just like to ask everyone to take a moment, please, for the hundreds of people that have died in Texas and for those that are still missing following the flash floods and the obvious concerns and trauma that people are going through. Thank you guys for indulging me in that one. And that is the end of my report. So if you would like to continue, Executive Director Horton.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I appreciate it. And I tell you, great minds think alike, because I had the same thing on my notes to acknowledge the horrific loss of life that have happened in Texas. So I do appreciate you taking a moment for that. I just want to add to that, though, if we could take a moment. We lost Bill Clackey recently. He was a staunch supporter of the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights. He literally had just called me to schedule another interview for us to talk about our gala and everything we've been doing around fair housing. So unfortunately, I did not get an opportunity to speak to him before his passing, but I felt it perfect timing for us as a commission to go on the record to acknowledge his work, especially in the fair housing arena, and just take a moment for the passing of Bill Clackey. Thank you all for indulging me. I will keep my report brief because I do have a couple things to talk about in executive session. So with that being said, I'll hold my comments and my time. I know we are tight on time today, so I want to make sure that we get through the rest of the agenda with the other reports. So I'll hold my time until executive session, and I'll yield to our Deputy Director.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you. Just my report will be very brief as well. Everyone has the updates to our case numbers with case processing, with all of our units, our intake, our housing, employment, and all our other areas that we investigate. I just wanted to share with the commission that we have 2 new contractual individuals who will be starting on July the 16th. And once they start, we will we'll engage them in a rigorous training. They will be going to our housing units, and we'll also provide some assistance to our ADR efforts. So that is all I have, unless anyone has any questions for me. Hearing none, who am I passing the microphone to? Is that you, Nicola? I'm passing the virtual microphone to?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I hope that your week is off to a great start. I am happy to share that FY 2026 is officially underway, and we have new money that we cannot spend. So, but we are happy that we have completed this last fiscal year. We do anticipate that we're going to close at least the general fund portion in the black. We did receive an infusion of some health insurance adjustments at year end, so we will be able to apply though and realign those funds to ensure that our health insurance is fully covered. But we will also be able to revert some funding back. But that is going to that's they've asked us to revert money back, so it's not as if we're just not spending it, just not to spend it, because we could be using it for other things. But state agencies have been asked to revert funds back, so we're going to try to, of course, comply with that. On June 24th, the Department of Budget and Management did notify all state agencies that they would be implementing a hiring freeze effective July 1st, which of course, they just let us know 1 week in advance. So we of course jumped right into gear. In addition to that hiring freeze, there is a Section 38 reductions, and those were reductions that were included as part of the final adopted budget for 26. The total reduction is about 121 million statewide in the personnel operating budget. The impact to MCCR would be $261,000, which would include $237,000 on the general fund side and $24,000 on the federal side. And that reduction impact would equate to about keeping 3 positions vacant throughout the year in order to comply with that. So we're going to work with DBM to see if we can identify ways where we can still bring on staff, but also comply with that operating reduction. In addition to that, with the hiring freeze, we are going to submit a blanket exception request for our Civil Rights Officer series, as well as the Assistant General Counsel, General Counsels that were included as new positions for FY26. So we hope to get that blanket exception approved by the Department of Budget and Management. Also, we are looking at bringing on 2 new administrative specialists for my unit, and we are currently doing interviews and anticipate bringing those staff on next month. Additionally, with the hiring freeze, they're going to also be doing further reductions associated with what they refer to as the voluntary separation program. It's something that they tried to implement back in 2011 as well as 2015. And essentially, if state employees apply for the program and their proposal is accepted, the agency would, there's like a severance pay, but you also lose a position. We can't afford to lose any positions within the agency, so we will not be participating in that program. But that doesn't mean that, you know, we wouldn't have staff members that may or may not try to apply for it. If they do apply for it, the agency stance would be to reject the request. And Yolanda mentioned about the civil rights officers that are starting on July 6th. We're selling gala tickets. You have the list of the advocate sponsors, and that's it for my presentation. If I have any questions, I can answer now.
Before you pass the mic on to the next person, Nicolette, because I don't see any questions right now, I just wanted to acknowledge the great work that Nicolette has done to keep us afloat. Thou giveth and thou taketh away, right? Kind of what they did with this hiring freeze for us, right? So we got these 15 pens, and then there was this hiring freeze announcement that came out. So Nicolette has been feverishly kind of scheduling meetings and working with Department of Budget and Management to ensure that the impact to our agency is minimal. So normally by the time I can get to her office to ask her what's the status of it, what's going on with this email, she's already followed up and got a response for it. So, and she's doing that with nobody else in her unit, right? So right now, Nicolette is a one woman show, and she is still continuing to juggle everything that she needs to and continue to make sure fiscally we are in a better position. So I do just want to highlight the great work that Nicolette has done, being understaffed, working through it all, going through the interviews, following up with Department of Budget and Management, making sure that we get these exceptions, making sure that we finish the year in the black, making sure that we stay in the black, making sure that the money that we're receiving for our gala is deposited, keeping track of all of our expenses for that. So again, I just wanted to lift up Nicolette and say thank you for everything that you've done and continue to do and continue to show up for us.
Thank you very much, Cleveland. I really do appreciate it. And it's easy to do that when I see that when the rest of my team shows up and does, do what they need to do as well. So I gotta do my part. But thank you for your kind words. I appreciate it.
Yep.
And I'll echo that. Thank you. But I was just about to say, I see Magdalena has her hand up. So
I have a question, and this is with respect to the freeze. How do you see this will affect, and this also goes to Cleveland, your office? What things might need to be cut or reduced and so on? And how can we assist in a way of being communicators?
Well, I would say, I think, listening to Nicolette's report, initially, the proposal is for us to potentially keep 3 positions vacant throughout the year. Now, what that means for us, obviously, is that we need every single pen that we have, including the additional pens, in order for us to get rid of the backlog, in order for us to be able to respond to complaints of discrimination in a more timely fashion. As the federal government continues to roll back their civil rights protections, the need for our agency will continue to grow more and more. We're already seeing that, especially from an EEOC side, how the expectation is growing every day in terms of what our expectations and what we can complete and on behalf of our employment discrimination complaint. So the impact for us truly is us being able to respond in a timely fashion, which has always been, and us having the resources to be able to do that. As we bring on more staff, it's important for us also to be able to match that with our legal personnel, right? Because more staff, more PCs, more legal opinions. In order for us to be able to respond to that in a timely fashion, we need to ensure that we're at least increasing in some capacity in that area as well. So having to keep one of those legal positions open as well is going to impact that. So when we take a look at potentially trying to keep 3 positions open across the board, while for some bigger agencies it's no big deal, but for us being a small agency, especially in this climate, in this environment that we're in right now, it would be critical for us to continue to move forward to be able to fill those 3 positions. So we are engaging in, creative ways, as Nicolette so eloquently said, to try to figure out how we can still fill those 3 positions and try to honor this reduction. So we're looking at any and every way that we can to reduce costs, whether it's our mailing costs, doing things more electronically, just really trying to figure out as an agency, where can we reduce as much cost as possible to absorb some of that reduction so that we can still continue to move on and fill those positions.
Thanks for mentioning that. And I have, you know that I've worked for the federal government, and it is the same situation with the hiring freeze and losing of people, either by retirement, early retirement, or by RIFs, reduction in force, or VRAs or VSEPs, any ways as possible to lower the numbers in the federal workforce. It is a challenge. It is a challenge to continue with the same mission. So, I have a motto, which is we have to be creative in doing the work. Coming forward, we have to be also strong and resilience. I think with that, in union, we have more force. So whatever we can do, don't hesitate, to share more for us to communicate.
We appreciate that.
Mhm.
And be careful what you ask for, but we appreciate that.
Don't worry.
Okay, so hearing none, so I will pass the mic to the next person. Thank you.
All right, I guess I'm the next person. Good morning, everyone. My report is very brief. I will hold mines for the executive session just to give you updates on some of the litigation, but everything else is in my written report. Unless you have questions on that, I will yield my time to the next person, which would be Candace.
Good morning, everyone. So great to see you all today. I just have a few brief highlights. As you know, our gala we are 47 days away. So we just encourage everyone to continuously support through purchasing tickets and sharing with your network. Also, education and outreach, we've been hosting virtual open houses. I did send that out in an email. So I just ask that everyone shares that with their network, so that we can continue to collaborate with other organizations and individuals so that we can become interdependent on one another and share what we have going on, as well as gain information about what's going on in everyone's communities. With that being stated, as you know, we also have our programs, Civil Rights Leadership Program, Young Scholars Program, and our Maryland Leadership and Advocacy Program that we are launching 2026 this fiscal year. So we just encourage everyone to participate. I will ensure that we send out an email with the QR code and links so that everyone can share with their network so that we can collaborate. We want to collaborate with individuals to gain speakers, participants, to help host some of our sessions. So greater detail will be coming out. I just wanted to share that so that that's on everyone's radar, so that we can continuously collaborate with our programs that we have coming up in E&O. With that being stated, that will conclude my report for today. Does anyone have any questions at all? Thank you.
Madam Chair, that is all of the staff reports.
Wow, that was incredibly quick. Thank you guys so much for that. Sorry, my system is really, really slow. So the next thing would be any new business. I think we've gone through everything in the reports. Does anyone have anything to add to new business at this time?
I know we have to go into executive session, so if there's no new business, I would make a motion to move into executive session.
So move. Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, let's move to executive session, everyone. Thank you very much.
All right, I'm gonna cancel the recording right now, and the interpreter should be good to go.